What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. We already know that WrestleMania has come and gone and everything like that. We're on the road to Money in the Bank and ultimately SummerSlam as well. But I want to predict WrestleMania 42 months in advance. And as we get closer to WrestleMania 42, we'll probably do a reaction where I see how far off my predictions were or how spot on some of my predictions may have been as well. So y'all also comment down below your matches or what matches you are looking forward to seeing potentially happen at WrestleMania 42. What matches would you guys like to see and everything like that? But I have a total of 13 matches. That's usually roughly around the same amount of matches that they do decide to do at WrestleMania anyway. I think this year was like 14, maybe 15 potentially, and whatnot. So we're gonna start off with the first match. It is for the Women's United States Championship. It is a fatal four-way for the United States Championship. We have Bayley versus Naomi versus Jade Cargill versus Bianca. I think I do feel as if we already know it's kind of gonna look crazy because we know Bayley is on Raw and the rest of it are on SmackDown. But I feel like we're probably gonna get a draft, and I think maybe Bayley ends up back on SmackDown. Um, and then we already know that there's been some type of tie-in with all of these women in some way, shape, or form. We know the stuff with Bayley and Bianca. That writes itself. We know the story between um, Jade and Naomi. That's there. So we put all those women together and let all of them wreak havoc and let those four women compete for the U.S. Championship. I think this gives the U.S. Championship a lot of prestige because of the people competing for it, the match that we could be getting for it as well. I think this gives it some type of importance and relevance going into WrestleMania, considering that it didn't make the card this year. So I think you need to do something to make this title feel, important going into WrestleMania. And I think why not have it be featured in a great match with some of the best workers that they do have. Bayley, her like when she's given the green light, she can really do something really, really special. Um, so why not decide to do that? You have Jade Cargill who's looking to become champion. You got Bianca who's at this in this timeline has turned heel and has been aligned with Naomi, and we find out that both of these women are going to do whatever it takes to become U.S. champion, and then they pretty much say it's pretty much somewhat every person for themselves, but at the same time they're willing to work together against Bayley and Jade Cargill so that they could be taken out of the equation so it could be just them two and a deciding factor. So I definitely think that we're probably going to get an opportunity where we can see these four women compete for the Women's United States Championship. The next match is a singles match. It is Randy Orton versus Matt Cardona. Yes, I have Randy Orton versus a returning Matt Cardona. Let these two really go out there and give us a good 10-15 minute match. I think this would be a great way to reintroduce Matt Cardona and you have him be featured in a high profile storyline going into WrestleMania. I know people are probably going to say, well, what about Kevin Owens? The only reason why I didn't put Kevin Owens on this card is only because I don't think Kevin Owens will be back in time to make WrestleMania 42. So I had to kind of, spitball some ideas. We could go with some different names in the WWE, but this is a match that I personally would really love to see play out on television leading into WrestleMania. I think the chemistry that these two guys can have on the microphone could be really good as well. I think the chemistry that they can have in the ring could be good. I feel like this is a match that I think people are going to be sleeping on, but I think can really steal the show at any given moment, and I don't think I would be surprised if it did. So I got to put Matt Cardona returning to face Randy Orton in a one-on-one match. I think this match is going to be really, really good. The next match that we are going to have on this card is a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. We know that the Intercontinental Championship has always been a staple um, at WrestleMania, especially in a ladder match scenario. So, um, who do I have in this match? I have the champion Karrion Kross defending the Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles, against Aleister Black, against Andrade, against Carmelo Hayes versus The Miz, versus Damian Priest. I think this match really could be really good because you have a lot going on here. We know there's a story between Karrion Kross and AJ going on currently in WWE somewhat right now. We know the Miz and Carmelo Hayes are kind of teaming up at right now. And Damian Priest is his own man. Andrade is looking to become champion. I mean, the story I think could really be interesting, having people that really want to help elevate this Intercontinental Championship to the next level. And you got somebody like the Miz who's made a career on becoming Intercontinental Champion, is willing to do it again. I think that would be an interesting story to tell. Him trying to potentially break a record. I think that's really cool as well. So I gotta put him in the conversation as potential people to put in this match for the Intercontinental Championship. So the next match we have is for the World Tag Team Championships. We have Finn Balor and JD McDonough versus Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. I feel like Finn Balor is going to turn on Dominic and kick him out of the Judgment Day. And then what we can do is you can have a story where maybe Dominic and Ray get back together and we do Dominic and Ray versus Finn and JD at WrestleMania for the World Tag Team Championship. I think this will be a great um heartfelt moment for both guys coming back together after everything that's happened in the past, putting it all aside to work with each other and become tag team champions again. I think that would be a really interesting narrative um, to have happen on the show. So the next match that we are going to have is for is going to be our co-main event. Well, this is not, I'm not going to any Pacific night, but this in my timeline is co-main event. We have a no holds barred match. We have Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov in a no holds barred street fight. Let these two go out there and cook. We know their history going back to NXT. We know that they were potentially teasing something while Gunther was Intercontinental Champion, and I think he would have been I think Ilya probably would have been the perfect opponent to take that title away from Gunther, and this would have allowed Gunther to go up to the main event scene, but that was not the case. He lost it at WrestleMania 42, Sami Zayn, which we will talk about Sami in just a little bit. But I think this will be a great match to have co-main event night one of WrestleMania if it does come to fruition. So our main event of night one is for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Seth Rollins defending the World Championship against the Royal Rumble winner Roman Reigns. I feel like Roman Reigns is probably going to win the Royal Rumble. Now we know that Royal Rumble next year will be in Saudi Arabia, and you know Saudi Arabia is going to do anything and everything to try to get the biggest pops and get the biggest stars featured and stuff like that. And if you want a legend, so quote unquote, to win this match, Roman Reigns is the closest guy that you can have that's still, somewhat in their prime to go after the world championship. You could do a Randy Orton, but I don't think they're gonna pull the trigger on that. Cena's gonna be on the, he's gonna be leaving at this by that point, so I don't see it being either one of those. So Rey Mysterio, I mean, he's a legend, but I don't think people would really care to see Rey Mysterio in a world title match, in my personal opinion. So I think this makes all the sense in the world. We have Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. We know the history going back to the Shield days and up until this point. Roman has never forgave Seth for everything that he's put him through, and you can honestly make the case that if it wasn't for Seth Rollins making this drastic change, we probably wouldn't have got the Roman Reigns that we have with the Tribal Chief and all that. Like, this is all Seth Rollins doing. And now we know at WrestleMania 41 this past year, Seth Rollins pinned Roman Reigns in the main event, continuing that story where Roman Reigns cannot beat Seth Rollins. No matter how many times he goes up against Seth Rollins in any capacity, he cannot beat Seth. Seth always has the upper hand in one way, shape, or form, whether if it's in the ring or if it's a psychological standpoint. He has the advantage over Roman Reigns, and having this story, Roman Reigns comes back and trying to defeat his demon and his demons of his past by defeating Seth Rollins and taking that world championship. I think it's an interesting dynamic and an interesting story to tell going into the showcase of the Immortals at WrestleMania 42. So that will be my night one main event. On to night two, we are going to kick off with the United States Championship for the men. We have Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. We already know that they're already teasing it on SmackDown already. Jacob fought Drew McIntyre. He said he wants to fight the biggest and the baddest, and he said that is none other than Jacob Fatu. So he says he wants Jacob Fatu. We tease it. We're probably gonna do something with Solo. Solo's gonna lose to Jacob, unfortunately. Then maybe we might do Jeff Cobb. Jacob overcomes both of those guys and moves on, and we have Drew waiting in the wings, and we do Jacob and Drew at WrestleMania, and I think these two can put our all-out car wreck for this U.S. Championship. This will help elevate the championship as well. We already know, me personally, I feel like Drew is going to have almost like a Gunther type run with this U.S. Championship. So whenever he does lose it, it makes all the sense in the world for them to have it happen the way that it does. So I think it would be interesting to have that happen. So we're gonna go into the next match, which will be for the WWE Tag Team Championship. We have Sami Zayn and Jey Uso versus Motor City Machine Guns versus Pretty Deadly versus the Bloodline versus Fraxium versus Penta and Rey Fenix for the WWE Tag Team Championships in a gauntlet style, elimination style. I think that would be kind of cool to have, or you could do a ladder match potentially for the tag team titles. I thought we could have done that this year at WrestleMania, so why not redo it next year? And you can also have in none other than Street Profits in there as well on DIY. You could probably have the whole tag team division at that point if you wanted to. At this point, I say even unify the tag team division if at this point, because we really don't have that many tag teams anyway. So why not have that potentially be something that does take place going into WrestleMania? So the next match is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We have Becky Lynch defending against Zoe Stark. I think Zoe Stark, being still in WWE, I think that shows that they might have some type of plans for her. Maybe they do something with her. Hopefully they do. I mean, she's very, very talented. I think she just needs that opportunity to really show what she can really do. And if you really go back to when we had that feud between Trish Stratus and Becky, I think the only person that I felt like really shined throughout that feud was, none other than Zoe. And I feel like once they dropped the storyline, they could have used that opportunity to catapult her to the next level. But unfortunately, that was not the case. So maybe this is a way to they can redo that and actually give her the much needed win. And I think with Becky being a heel, this would be a great, interesting dynamic to have Zoe the first time on in her career as a babyface on the main roster. So why not have those two go up against each other and give us an interesting, solid to decent match? And I think this will help the Intercontinental Championship gain even more prestige. So that's what I think we will be doing. Um, so now the other matches are title matches. I was gonna put some one on night one, which I forgot to. The Women's World Championship I will put on night one. This will be Io Sky, who's walking in as champion, defending against Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez versus Julia versus Asuka versus Kairi Sane in a six-pack challenge elimination style match. I think this would be a great way to get more eyes on the Women's World Championship. You have some of your best workers going up for that championship. You got a rising star in Roxanne Perez and Julia. You got Asuka coming back. You know they're gonna probably tease some stuff with Asuka and Io. You know some stuff that's gonna probably be teased between Kyrie and Io as well, going back to their damage control days. You know the stuff that's been going on between Io and Rhea going back into WrestleMania this past year. So a lot of different stories are going to be merged and probably come together to make this match happen, which I think could be a really, really interesting match. And I'm not gonna make any predictions on anything, but I think this match could realistically be just as good as the triple threat that we got with Bianca, Rhea, and Io this year. So I'm gonna put that on my match card. The next match is a cool down match. We have for the women's tag team titles. We have none other than Fatal Influence. Fatal Influence has been called up at this point, facing Natalia and Maxine Dupree versus Meechin and BFAB. I think it's safe to say that you could put those two together potentially. And then maybe we could do Secret Harvest. I think that makes all the sense in the world to do some type of tag team match. They usually just do it anyway. The most of the tag team matches that they throw together are just really building a story or make it feel important. But I think it's safe to say that they're going to put a women's tag team title match on the card anyway. So I think that's the kind of like your only tag teams that you realistically have. I mean, you have other tag teams in the NXT division and whatnot. I know we still have Zarya and Soruka, but I feel like at this point they probably would have been already split. So I don't think that they will end up having that match or those two teaming up and going into WrestleMania as tag team champions. Um, but the next match that we will be talking about is for the WWE Women's Championship. The WWE Women's Championship. We have the champion Charlotte Flair facing the Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan is going to win the 2026 Royal Rumble, and she's going to face Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 42, where I think this is going to probably be one of her biggest matches to date. We know the trajectory that Liv Morgan is on. We know that she's been doing some stellar work this entire year with the match that she's been having in the tag team division with Io Sky and Dakota Kai before she was released and stuff like that, and the match that she had with Bianca and Jade, the match that she had with Rhea on Raw on Netflix was really good. The match that she had with Io Sky on Saturday's Night Main Event was really good as well. Her performance in the Elimination Chamber this past year was really good. Her performance in the World Rumble was really good as well. I definitely got to put her in that conversation. We can do Charlotte versus Liv Morgan for the women's championship, and this will be the way we can have Liv Morgan finally have her WrestleMania moment and her first WrestleMania win, because in her career she has not won at WrestleMania yet. So this will be a great way to finally give her that win and give her that big fight feel and give her that big crowning moment that she relatively really deserves. And we know when she goes to Saudi, she's one of the bigger stars that do step foot out there. So I think this will be something I can really see happening, and that will be your co-main event. And then the main event of the evening for the WWE Championship, we have CM Punk defending the championship against Cody Rhodes, who won the Elimination Chamber to win this, to win an opportunity to face for the WWE Championship, I should say. And I think they teased it going into this year's WrestleMania. I think a lot of people would have thought this probably would have been one of the matches that we could have seen happen, but they pivoted and we ended up doing Cody this year versus John Cena. I think I think it's safe to say that we probably will have a situation where during the run of Cena, Punk does take the title. Then we can have Cody either come back potentially, and then we can set up those two for WrestleMania. Because I think this feud between Punk and Cody could be really interesting. We've seen the teases that we did get this year, and I enjoyed them. I would love to see this be a full-blown feud. So why not actually let these two go out there and have an interesting feud going into WrestleMania? I think both guys deserve it. I think CM Punk deserves to go into a WrestleMania defending his the world title in a main event. I think Cody's probably going to main event another WrestleMania. So it's safe to say that this probably could be one of the matches that we do have going into WrestleMania 42 next year. But those are my matches that I predict happening at WrestleMania 42. Let me know in the comment section down below what are the matches that you feel are going to happen at WrestleMania 42 next year. Let me know in the comment section down below. Road to 2,000 subscribers. Our goal is 10,000 by the end of 2025. But with that being said, hope everybody has a great day, great rest of your week, a great weekend. Super kick that like button, helps my channel get pushed across the platform so more people see what I'm doing over here on YouTube. Super post that post notification bell so every time I post a new video, which is a reaction video, rant video, live stream, any type of video you can be looping things. When I do drop a video and spear the subscribe button, takes 3 seconds out of your day to do those 3 things for me. Helps in the progression of my channel as well. But with that being said, hope everybody's a great day, great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next video.